Good morning. Yeah, I guess it's morning. Yep, it's still morning here too. Sorry. Good morning. Feeling better this morning. Chandler and I had a great day exploring Ottawa. It's surprising how, for example, in Quebec, they were very welcoming of my dog and didn't question, and even dogs that weren't service dogs were kind of everywhere. And then in Ontario, almost every shop we went into said no dogs, and of course as soon as I explained he was a service dog, they're like, oh, okay, that's all right. And Chandler was on his absolute best behavior while we were in Ontario. He did amazing. Very focused on me, listening. Very rarely did I have to stop what I was doing and focus on him to get him reconnected to me. He just did amazing. He's just over my shoulder here, sleeping in the back of the car. Let's see if I can... Yeah, there he is. That's one of his happy places when we drive, is up there. So, he's having his rest now. Yeah, we had a great day in Ontario. I found this amazing little gluten-free shop where everything they made was gluten-free. I couldn't decide, so I ended up with a fried chicken poutine, because I wanted fried chicken, poutine, and their fish and chips. And instead of getting 3 meals, he suggested they make a fried chicken poutine where they chop up the breaded fried chicken on it. Oh, it was so amazing. It really was. And the restaurant was so tiny. Like, oh my gosh, I wouldn't have seen it. I didn't see it until I was literally parking outside of their front door. And inside, I took a quick video. Just did a circle around the room. And yeah, tiny place, but amazing food. Anyway, brought that back to our tent and saw that there had been a downpour, I guess. Well, I know when we came out of the restaurant, the car was wet. So, I guess it rained. We weren't in there that long, so it must have been a pretty heavy, like a flash downpour. Didn't rain any after that for the whole drive back to the campsite. Oh yeah, I went to get a hotel room, and I started running into issues. Mostly because of the camping gear I've got strapped to the car. It includes a propane tank for my camp stove. Well, it's like a fire pit that I'm using as a stove. Anyway, I decided it just wasn't worth the struggle, and I found a campsite to set up at and drop everything off so we could explore Ottawa with the car pretty much unloaded, and it was great. But we got back to the campsite, and it had rained. It had rained a lot. The tent was wetter than it has been this entire trip. I mean, we had that thunderstorm the first night, and I didn't even get as wet as what I came back to. I just took one look and did what I could to dry some of the biggest puddles in the tent, but there was no drying that floor. So it was a matter of don't step on the floor in the tent in your socks at all. So I had to sleep with my shoes right next to me, and I spent the whole night worrying if my blanket fell off the bed and into the water, it would get soaked, and essentially I wouldn't be able to use that part of my blanket anymore. So I didn't sleep very well because of that. All that said, my blanket did not get wet. My pillows, I don't know how, they always fall on the floor, but they didn't this time. And yeah, my phones, my old iPhone that I watch Netflix on did fall and get a little damp, but it's in a good case, so I dried it off. It was good. And this phone has been giving me grief today. So I wonder if it didn't just get moisture from last night. I don't really know. I mean, it was up on a chair, but it was humid in the tent. Everything in there was wet. Even this morning, it was just wet. So I repacked everything this morning. And unfortunately, I used a towel to dry up 3/4 of the water that was on the floor in the tent, but realistically, I couldn't do much. So I just put the tent away, and I'm hoping to get to the next campsite today in time to set up the tent and let it dry out better. I guess time will tell. Worst case scenario, I'll find a motel and go indoors for a night. Yeah, but I'm not too concerned. It'll be fine. I still have, now I've added an extra day to my trip, so I don't think I'll be home until Sunday at this point. And that's okay. I'm a little flaky and distracted, which is kind of normal for me, honestly. But that time in Ottawa was good for both Chandler and I. We reconnected. He worked hard. I got to see some really interesting shops, and Parliament Hill, wow, just beautiful. I mean, that's all you can say about it. I was just in awe. It was so beautiful. I didn't go inside. There's so much more to do in this area. Truthfully, I could spend a week in Montreal. I could spend a week in Ottawa. I could spend a week on Prince Edward Island. I could spend another week out there so that I could get all the way out to Newfoundland and explore it. Yeah. But given I've just got short snapshots, I was going to do a hop-on, hop-off tour of Ottawa, but by the time I was set up at the campsite, it was 1:30 p.m. already, local time. Well, they end at 4, and I had a half-hour drive back to Ottawa, so to me it really wasn't worth paying for the pass. Instead, I picked 2 key places and checked them out. One was Parliament Hill, and of course wandering that whole area. And then the other one was this unique marketplace. And I went there and checked it out and got some amazing pictures of Chandler. He sat so well. People were amazed. Like, I was able to take his leash off of him and sit him and have him look at the camera, and I took a picture, and I did it twice. Oh, I forgot. Chandler made a friend while we were wandering that marketplace. There was a baby in a stroller, and the baby adored Chandler. Adored him. And Chandler loved him too, like would go up gently and tap him with his nose, and then one time, like once the baby knew and the parents knew, Chandler would pop up his front paws on the baby stroller and give him a kiss on the nose and then jump down. Yeah. And we ran into them like 4 times. It was so funny. But Chandler absolutely adored this little guy. And the little guy adored Chandler too. So, all in all, we had a really good afternoon. I'm glad I made the decision to stop and add the extra time to the trip to explore Ottawa. It just, so beautiful. I saw so many amazing cathedrals that, between construction and time crunch, I really couldn't do it justice. But I do know I want to go back there someday and explore it further. have to take another Benadryl last night, and today most of the welts on my arms, they're like, I would say 80% gone. A lot of them are gone, and some of the big ones are really down. So maybe one more night of Benadryl tonight, and I should be okay. Whatever I'm reacting to, I'm having a bigger reaction than I'm used to. But it's getting better. So yeah, that's the trip, and right now we're just driving through Ontario. I'll be in Ontario for a few days. I'm gonna make it to a campsite tonight, and then tomorrow night I'm going to make it closer to Thunder Bay, and I want to check out the amethyst mines near Thunder Bay. That was my last planned stop on this road trip, are those mines. After that, I'm deciding if I'm going to continue traveling through Canada or cross back into the US to get home. I honestly don't know. Given I have to go to Estevan to pick up Bart, the US might be the way to go. Fuel is cheaper, the speed limit is higher. I hate to say it, but I like traveling on the highways in the US better, and not just because of the speed limit. The amenities for the highway are right there. You don't have to go 5 kilometers off the highway into a town to get a coffee. So, we'll see. I've got a couple days to decide. And I've already done the north side around the lakes after Thunder Bay. I did that last time, before I had to cut south. I don't know. We'll see. Not a big deal. Doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Yeah. I'm just in a really good place today. And I'm better. I'm still a little tired, still a little off because of this allergic reaction, because of the rain. I'm not chilled. I had a really good sleep. I was so comfortable. And I have clothes in case it gets really cold. I brought my long underwear, a base layer for my shirt. I brought a toque. I brought hoodies galore. Like, I can bundle up. Oh, I've even got those really thick woolly socks for sleeping in if I need, in case my feet always get cold. They're the first thing. I haven't even had to pull those socks out once. So, all in all, I can't really complain about this trip. I'm loving it. I'm happy. I'm enjoying it. Montreal was very hard on my heart. It was. And I talked to the gentleman at the campgrounds. He and I got talking about it a bit, and he said, yeah, Montreal is in a bad way right now. He mentioned Ottawa, it's not as bad, but of course there are homeless everywhere. I mean, don't get me wrong, I understand that. I understand there's a homeless problem right now. But he did say Montreal right now is known for having a fairly extensive problem. He did also say, I'm not likely to see as much of that in Ottawa. I mean, it's Parliament Hill. We know they want to keep it clean. They want to keep the homelessness out of sight of things like that. So this time I did go to the tourist areas. And I do know in Montreal, I didn't. I headed into downtown and I was along the docks. I probably saw some of the worst areas of Montreal, and that's all that I saw. So I'm not judging Montreal on that. but it did really hurt my heart. But yeah, I do know Thunder Bay, I remember from last time, can be fairly rough. But I'm gonna go to the Sleeping Giant campground. I saw the giant from my hotel room last time I was there, and a friend of mine told me the name of it, and this time when I was Googling campsites, it turns out they have a campsite there. So I'm hoping to spend a night out there and explore that. I think that'll be pretty awesome. That's really all. I mean, I always have lots of time to think when I'm driving. And I'm okay. Lee's been on my mind a lot lately. Mostly because someone mentioned this year at the Sundance, they just asked if he's let me go yet. And it didn't even dawn on me that that could be a thing. I thought I had to let him go. And I struggled with that for a while, but I kind of now understand that I can let him go, and when I need him, he'll be there for me. Like, I can ask him to come back when I need and support me, and I know he's been with me on this trip. I haven't consciously said the words and asked him to be with me, but I know he's here. Yeah, we won't even go into how I know he's here. He's here. He's enjoying this road trip with me. But in thinking about him and wondering about that question, has he let me go? I'm kind of feeling maybe he hasn't. And maybe I need to accept that. But at the same time, neither one of us were ready when he left. Neither one of us were ready. And I don't know what it's like on the other side of the veil. I really don't. I have learned recently that being stuck in a limbo and in an area where unresolved things keep you there while you try to resolve them is a thing. I don't want to call it purgatory, because I don't think I believe in the concept heaven, hell, and purgatory. But I do believe that if you're struggling with something and you need to work it through before you can move on, maybe that's what Lee's struggling with. Because other than that, I think we had an amazing life together. I know he loved me. I pray he knows how much I loved him. I told him all the time. But there were certain things I could never use my words to tell him because I didn't know how to tell him. Not bad things, just things that I don't know if he could understand. He struggled to understand how I could have PTSD, and I've never served in a war. He lived an incredibly privileged life. The kind I didn't think existed. But I saw it. And I'm grateful for that. He had a good life. He lived a good life. He was happy. I mean, we all have our struggles, but he had a good life. And I believe we supported each other and made each other very happy for the few years we had together. And I know he's with Christine. I hope he's with Christine on the other side now. I hope that's not weighing heavily on him that we met, and that I'm hoping what we had doesn't diminish what he and Christine had for him. I don't want that for him. And I don't think it did, because one time we talked about, he had his gravesite. Christine was buried there already. And he wanted to be cremated and buried beside Christine, of course. And when I said I didn't know where I would end up, he said, "You're welcome to join us." And I thanked him, and I told him, I will let my children know you said that, but I think I'm going to leave it up to them what they want to do with my remains. But for him to even invite me, it wasn't to replace anybody. It was in addition to what was already there. And in that way, I think that's how he understood this, that he had a good life with Christine, and unfortunately it ended far too suddenly. And then he and I had a good life, but that doesn't diminish what he had with her at all. I'm sure he knows that. I'm sure he does. So all I can figure, if he is struggling, it's with leaving so suddenly. I don't know how to help him. Maybe I do. Maybe I do know how to help him. Maybe I just need to take the time. But I also have to honor what that sudden leaving did to me and the grieving of it. And yes, I have had my moments of anger. I know it's not his fault. But at the same time, I can still be angry that he had to leave in such a way. I know it wasn't his choice. I hope he understands that I know that. I completely understand it was not his choice or desire to do that. Maybe that's what he needs from me, is for me to express that, share that I understand. And trust me, as hard as it was for you, it was hard here too. Maybe he just needs to take his time to work through that. I'm still working through it. I still have moments where I miss him horribly, and I have other moments where I'm just angry because this sucks. I've discovered I am not a very social person. Some of these campsites are such wonderful little communities. And I'm just not connecting. I'm not even trying to connect. Maybe I don't know how. Maybe that's why I'm not trying. I don't know how to connect. Last night, when I got back to the campsite, I brought my card in. They gave me a gate card in case I was late getting back and the office was closed. But I got back in time and I returned the card to get my deposit back. And the room was full of people, and they were having fun and playing darts, and so welcoming to Chandler and I. In fact, a few people immediately were drawn to him and wanted to say hello, and didn't ask, but I mean, it was no way malicious. But made me realize, you know what, like this is a community here. Friendly community. And I just didn't, yeah. Maybe I don't know how. Oh, sounds silly. Maybe I should pull a Sheldon Cooper. Get that book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. I don't remember the actual title of the book, but I don't know, maybe I need to. But I've spent a lot of time recently accepting being alone and independent and taking care of things myself. At first I didn't think I could do it. I'm showing myself slowly, one event at a time, that I can do this. I am capable. I had a lady in Boston look at the setup on the car, and she was like, that is awesome. And you know what? I have to agree. This car doesn't have a lot of storage, especially if I want to keep the trunk empty for the roof. So using this luggage rack, I'm using it quite effectively, and it's amazing what that thing is holding and how it's holding. And I've now added, during this trip, I've added 2 great big totes and a propane tank to that rack back there, and it's fine. It's doing fine. I'm capable. I can show up at these campsites alone. I can get my tent up by myself. I can tear everything down and pack it up and secure it myself. I'm capable of doing these road trips myself and my little travel buddy. I don't need another person. It would be nice someday to have another person, but I don't need another person. Anyway. Oh gosh. Allergies, sorry. I've been struggling with them a lot lately. Anyway, that's kind of all I had to share for today. There's a lot rolling around in my head. There always is when I drive. But today, it's a good. What is rolling around in my head is good, even though it's a lot. Wow, these guys are driving like asses in front of me. I'm going to turn this off so that I make sure I can get away from them. Sure, I'll do another check-in soon. Have a great day.